federal agent? Verify the number.
This badge is fake.
Call the duty desk.
He gave you the number.
Stay back. Verify it.
That's my daughter. She can wait. She's calling from her school.
Come on!
You're not touching the phone.
Let him answer. Back up.
30 seconds. No.
What do we have? Fake federal badge. Locked case. Use your secure directory.
Protected material.
Convenience.
Verified me first.
Keep record. Credential returned active.
Let her finish.
Possible spoofing. Secure federal transfer confirmed.
That proves nothing.
That proves nothing. It proves exactly what he said. Reconnect the line.
No.
Hands back. Am I under arrest? You're being detained. After federal confirmation?
We all heard it.
Stop interfering.
He isn't
Preserve
resisting.
every recording. You don't give orders here.
Dad?
Please answer it.
Transport him. His daughter can hear this.
Put the phone in evidence.
What are you afraid she'll hear?
Keep the original video.
Everyone step away.
Do not open that case.
Another fake secret?
Urgent federal warning. Load it.
Turn that down.
What warning?
You should listen. Detaining officers may be connected.
The officer held Marcus Reed's federal badge between two fingers and laughed. Nice fake. Around them, phones were already recording. Blue lights washed the rain-slick road, and Marcus's daughter kept calling from a school auditorium he had promised not to miss. Why would a calm traffic stop turn into handcuffs? Why did the sergeant ignore the badge number, the sealed case file, and the voice from Federal Dispatch? And why did Marcus refuse to fight back when one phone call could have ended everything? The answer was bigger than one arrest, and by sunrise, an entire department would be forced to listen. Stay until the end, because the badge they mocked was only the first secret on that road. Put your hands where I can see them. Marcus held them open at shoulder height. Rain tapped the roof of his gray sedan and slipped cold beneath his jacket. Officer Evan Cole stood 3 feet away, Marcus's federal credentials pinched between two fingers as if they were dirty. Call the verification number, Marcus said. Cole laughed. You expect me to call a number printed on a fake badge? It routes through a federal duty desk. Sure it does. A truck hissed past, spraying mist across the shoulder. Two strangers had stopped to watch. One held up a phone. Marcus's phone buzzed on the patrol car hood. Leah calling. He glanced once. Cole followed his eyes. Don't. That's my daughter. You'll talk to her when I say. A raindrop crossed Marcus's photograph, slid over the seal, and gathered at the leather edge. Sergeant Laura Vance arrived with her hood tight around her face. She looked first at Cole. What do we have? Forged federal credentials. He won't let me open the locked case. It contains protected material, Marcus said. You need verified authorization. Vance took the wallet. Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed, Civil Rights Accountability Task Force. Yes. And you happen to be driving through Ashford with a secret case? I'm not discussing an active matter here. Cole smirked. He practiced that. The phone buzzed again. Leah calling glowed through the rainwater. Sergeant, Marcus said, the duty desk can confirm me in less than a minute. Vance glanced toward the witness filming beneath the store awning. People can print anything. The secure response is what matters. Cole stepped closer. Turn around. Marcus stayed still. Am I being detained? You have been since I ordered you out. For what offense? Cole's mouth tightened. Vance answered. Obstruction while we determine who you are. You already have the means. Turn around, she repeated. For 1 second, the road went quiet. The rain softened. Behind the storefront glass, a door chime rang, but nobody came outside. Marcus turned. The first cuff closed around his left wrist with a dry click. Cold metal pressed into his skin. He shifted his feet so Cole could not mistake balance for resistance. Too tight? Cole asked. Marcus tested his fingers. You know the standard. Cole tightened the second cuff anyway. The woman filming lowered her phone, then raised it again. Marcus's phone vibrated a third time. The call ended before the screen brightened. A voicemail icon appeared beneath Leah's name. Vance slid the credentials into an evidence bag. "Do not seal that before verification," Marcus said. "You don't give instructions here." "No, I'm preserving the record." Cole searched Marcus's jacket pocket and pulled out the folded school program. Damp paper opened in his glove. In blue ink, Leah had written, "Don't be late this time." "What's this?" "Put it back." Cole read the words, then let the program fall beside the rear tire. Rain darkened the page. Marcus looked down. Not at Cole. Not at Vance. At the ink beginning to run. "Transport him," Vance said. Cole guided him toward the patrol car while phones kept recording and the paper flower slowly vanished beneath the rain. 4 hours earlier, the kitchen clock clicked to 3:12 p.m. as Marcus slid 2 reheated pancakes onto Leah's plate. "You burned the edges," she said. "I improved the texture." "You say that every time." Cinnamon and hot butter softened the stale afternoon air while rain gathered against the window. Leah sat in her school sweater, turning a folded concert program between her fingers. Marcus set the syrup bottle with its handle facing her. "Eat. You can review the chef later." She cut a corner but did not lift it. "What time are you coming back?" "Before 6. "The doors open at 6. "I know. You knew about the science ceremony, too." Marcus stopped wiping the counter. The dishcloth was warm in his hand. "That interview ran long." "And the winter recital?" "My flight was canceled." Leah looked toward the framed photograph beside the fruit bowl. Aisha stood in summer sunlight, laughing with one hand on Marcus's shoulder. Gray light briefly hid her face. "Tonight is different," Marcus said. "How?" "Because I'm telling you, I'll be there." "You told me before." The radiator knocked twice. Marcus pulled out the chair opposite her. "What are you singing?" "You know. I want to hear you say it." "Mom's song." The words settled between them. Marcus glanced at the photograph. "She used to sing it while making coffee. She sang it everywhere. She forgot half the words. She changed them." A quiet laugh escaped him, but Leah's face stayed still. "Will you sit in front?" she asked. "First row." "Not near the door." "Middle seat." "Phone off." "Completely off." She studied him, as if checking a signature. "Ms. Ellison said parents should arrive early." "I'll be early enough to complain about the folding chairs." That lifted one corner of her mouth. She ate a bite, then touched the pale blue shirt draped over the next chair. "You're wearing this?" "With the charcoal jacket." "You look like you're going to question somebody." "I'm meeting someone who needs to feel safe." "Work?" "Yes." "The kind you can't tell me about?" "The kind I can explain when it's over." Leah nodded, rubbing one of the program's gold stars loose with her thumb. Marcus rinsed his mug, changed his shirt in the hallway, and returned fastening the last cuff. At the door, he checked his wallet, keys, and silver wedding band. His field jacket felt cool across his shoulders. Leah appeared with both shoes on. "Dad." He turned. "Don't make me keep looking at the door." The room seemed to narrow around the sentence. Marcus reached for her, but she stepped close first and pressed her forehead briefly against his chest. "I won't," he said. She moved away before he could see her face. "First row." "First row." He entered the hallway. The elevator indicator glowed red at the far end, counting upward too slowly. When he reached into his pocket for his keys, his fingers brushed folded paper. Leah had slipped the concert program inside. Across the bottom, in uneven blue letters, she had written, "Don't be late this time." The elevator opened with a metallic sigh. Marcus read the sentence once, folded the program along its crease, and placed it over his heart before the doors closed. At 4:07 p.m., Chief Hal Brennan tapped the red line on the quarterly chart. "Stops are down 12%, he said. "Warnings are up." Fluorescent light flattened every face in the Ashford briefing room. Wet jackets steamed along the back wall. Evan Cole sat with one boot hooked around his chair leg. "People slow down when they see us." "Then find the ones who don't." Sergeant Laura Vance kept both palms on a complaint folder. "This came in again," she said. Cole leaned back. The driver changed his story. He added a witness. He added a friend. Brennan reached for the folder. A red stamp crossed the front. "Complaint not sustained." "How many days did we lose?" 3. "Close it." Near the door, Jonah Price glanced up. "Shouldn't outside review handle repeat complaints?" The room went still. Vance turned. "You have been here 6 weeks." 7. "Then spend week 8 learning the difference between concern and proof." Brennan slid the folder back. "Our department will not be managed by people who resent being stopped." Jonah lowered his eyes. Cole smiled. "Quarter ends Friday," Brennan said. "I want visibility, contacts, and clean reports." Chairs scraped. Radios crackled. Vance waited until the room emptied, then covered the red stamp. "You need to be careful," she told Cole. "I was careful." "You were loud." He reached toward the console. "That is not what your camera shows." Cole's jaw tightened. "You watched it?" "I watched enough to keep it from becoming bigger." She lowered her voice. "Give me less to fix." Across town, Marcus sat inside a laundromat office where the dryers made the walls tremble. Calvin Moss, 44, narrow-shouldered, with a silver scar through one eyebrow, held a paper cup. "They stopped me on Briar Road," Calvin said. "Same place, same questions." "How many times?" 4 since May." "Did they search the van?" "Twice." "With consent." Calvin rubbed the cup seam. "They said if I refused, they would hold me until a dog came." Marcus did not write. "Did one officer identify himself?" "Cole. The woman was Vance." A dryer buzzer sounded. Calvin flinched and spilled coffee across his thumb. Marcus turned a napkin dispenser toward him. "Take your time." "They called my boss," Calvin continued. "Said I looked nervous. My boss cut my roots for 2 weeks." "Do you have the dispatch records?" Calvin lifted a sealed envelope. "Copies. Names of 2 others." Marcus logged the time, placed it inside a black case, and closed both latches. "You understand this may become public." "I understand staying quiet already cost me." "I will not use your name without authorization." Calvin nodded, but his fingers kept crushing the cup. At 4:42, Marcus stepped into the parking lot. His phone showed a message from Leah. Front row. No excuses. He typed, "Already planned," then erased it and wrote, "I'll be there before the doors open." Her reply came at once. "Promise?" Marcus looked at the black case on the passenger seat and pressed his wedding band against the phone. "Promise." The heater coughed cold air, the wipers dragged across the glass, and the clock changed to 4:45. 3 miles away, Evan Cole pulled onto Briar Road and switched on his patrol camera. At 4:53 p.m., red lights filled Marcus's rearview mirror. He checked the speedometer. 41 in a 45. The wipers dragged across the glass. Ahead, the faded center line disappeared beneath rainwater. Marcus stopped beneath the buzzing sign of a roadside market and lowered the window. "License and registration." "Of course." Evan Cole stood behind the doorframe, rain beating on his jacket. Marcus kept both hands visible, then reached slowly toward the console. "Tell me what you're doing." "Getting the registration." "I didn't ask for an explanation." Marcus placed the document with his license in Cole's palm. What was the reason for the stop? You crossed the center line. The line is underwater. Cole shone a flashlight across Marcus's face. You calling me a liar? No, I'm asking where you observed it. The beam stayed on him. Inside the market, 21-year-old Tessa Park paused beside a refrigerator case. She had a yellow raincoat over one arm and a pencil through her dark bun. Through the glass, she saw Cole lean closer. Where are you coming from? He asked. A meeting. What kind? A private one. Cole glanced at the black case strapped into the passenger seat. What's in there? Protected work material. Step out. Marcus checked the clock. 4:56. Am I being cited? You're being instructed. A truck rolled into the lot, air brakes sighing. Samuel Grant, 58, broad-shouldered and gray-bearded, climbed down with a metal thermos. He stopped when he heard Cole's tone. Marcus unfastened his seatbelt. The buckle snapped in the cabin. I will step out, he said. The case remains closed. Cole opened the door first. Cold rain struck Marcus's neck. Hands on the roof. Marcus complied. Water ran beneath his sleeves. Cole patted his jacket, then lifted the folded concert program from the pocket. What's this? My daughter's school program. Cole glanced at the handwritten note and shoved it back. You nervous? No. You're answering carefully. I usually do. Samuel moved beneath the awning beside Tessa. Did he cross the line? She whispered. Not from where I was. You saw him? For half a mile. Cole circled the sedan. Locked case? Private meeting. Evasive answers. That normal where you come from? Marcus turned slightly. I have answered every lawful question related to the stop. Face forward. The market door chimed as Tessa stepped outside and raised her phone. Cole noticed. Ma'am, stay back. I am back. Stop recording. Am I breaking a law? Samuel's thermos lid clicked against the cup. Let her stand there. Cole's shoulders tightened. Both of you need to leave. We're customers, Samuel said. Marcus felt the roof vibrate as a truck passed. Officer, my identification is in the inside pocket. It will explain why the case cannot be opened roadside. Cole reached in, pulled out the leather credential wallet, and opened it under the market light. For the first time, his expression changed. Rain ticked against Tessa's phone screen. Samuel stopped pouring coffee. Cole read the badge twice, then looked at Marcus. What exactly are you pretending to be? Cole held the credential wallet beneath the market light. What exactly are you pretending to be? Marcus kept both palms on the wet roof. Read the agency name. I did. Then call the verification number. Cole turned the wallet toward Tessa's phone. A gold seal and serious lettering. Anyone can print this. Samuel stood by the ice machine. Then check it. Rain hammered the awning. Cold water slipped beneath Marcus's sleeves. My daughter is performing tonight, he said. Verify me, and this ends in a minute. Cole smiled. Now there's a daughter. Marcus said nothing. Tessa lowered her phone, then raised it again. Cole pressed his radio. Dispatch. Send another unit. Possible forged credentials. Locked container. Uncooperative driver. I have followed every instruction. At 5:01, Sergeant Laura Vance's cruiser angled behind the sedan. What do we have? Cole handed her the wallet. He says he's federal and refuses to open that case. Vance swept her flashlight over the seal, photograph, and verification line. Where did you get this? It was issued to me. Cole laughed. That's how he's been talking. Vance glanced toward Tessa. Do not interfere. I'm 20 feet away. A loose sign struck the wall. Refrigeration motors hummed behind the glass. Marcus turned his head slightly. The number connects to a secure duty desk. Give them my credential code. A convincing fake would include a convincing number, Vance said. A secure response cannot be printed. Unless a friend is waiting, Cole added. Marcus's phone vibrated inside the sedan. Through the rain-streaked window, Leah calling filled the screen. Who is that? Cole asked. My daughter. She can wait. The auditorium opens at 6. Vance glanced at the cruiser clock. Cole pulled the black case. The steel cable held it to the seat frame. Do not damage that case, Marcus said. A threat? A warning about chain of custody. Tessa's phone caught Vance's eyes moving toward Cole. Leave it, she said. Cole released the handle. What is inside? Vance asked. Protected evidence. I cannot disclose more until you verify me. That answer is getting old. It remains accurate. Cole moved behind him. Hands together. Marcus looked at Vance. Am I under arrest? You are being detained while we determine whether these documents are fraudulent. You can determine that now. We are not calling a number supplied by a suspect. Use your own federal directory. Turn around, Vance said. Marcus obeyed. The first cuff closed with a dry click. Cold metal pressed into his wrist. He shifted his feet so Cole could not mistake balance for resistance. Tessa whispered, This is wrong. Samuel tightened his hand around the thermos lid, but said nothing. Marcus's phone stopped vibrating. A voicemail icon appeared beneath Leah's name. Sergeant, he said, your cameras recorded the badge, the number, and your refusal to use either. Vance slid the wallet into a clear evidence bag. Good. Then there will be a record. A drop of rain crossed Marcus's photograph inside the plastic. It blurred his face, but the federal seal remained perfectly visible. The dispatcher's voice broke through Cole's radio at 5:04 p.m. Unit 12, confirm the credential number. Cole looked at Vance. Rain rattled against the cruiser roof while Marcus stood between them, cuffed behind his back. Read it, Vance said. Cole lifted the evidence bag and recited the code. At Ashford Dispatch, Maya Lopez straightened in her chair. 29, with a silver pen behind one ear, she typed the number into the state directory. The screen redirected her to a federal portal. Stand by. Marcus watched Vance's face. Cole tugged at the cable securing the black case. Still locked. It stays locked, Marcus said. You say that like it matters. It will. Tessa moved to the awning's edge. Samuel set his thermos on the concrete ledge. Maya entered the second code. A green banner appeared. Active federal credential. Transfer to duty desk. She pressed the secure line. Federal duty officer, Ashford Dispatch. Identity confirmation on a roadside detention. Provide the full code. Maya did. Static rose and fell. Then the voice returned. Confirmed. Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed, Civil Rights Accountability Task Force. Maintain custody of all property and... Vance pressed the side switch on Cole's shoulder mic. The voice vanished. Only the market sign buzzed. Marcus looked at her hand. Why did you cut that off? We do not know who was on that line. Maya used the department directory. Cole frowned. How do you know her name? The dispatcher identified herself. She didn't, Tessa said. Everyone turned. Marcus kept his eyes on Vance. Her unit number is on the transmission header. Cole checked the display. Maya's identifier glowed beside the channel. Vance's jaw shifted. A prepared fraud can be elaborate. Then reconnect. No. You heard them confirm him. Vance pointed toward the store. Go inside. I'm on private property. Cole stepped toward him. Do not make this your problem. Samuel did not move. Looks like it already is. The rain weakened to cold mist. Water ran from Marcus's cuffs into his palms. His left thumb had gone numb. Inside dispatch, Maya marked the second Vance terminated the call and attached the result to the incident file. Maya to Unit 12. Federal status returned active. Reconnect? Vance answered first. Negative. Flag possible spoofing. Maya's fingers stopped. Sergeant, the directory initiated the transfer. Flag it. Marcus heard the hesitation in Maya's breathing. Copy, she said, but her voice had changed. Cole opened the sedan's rear door and leaned toward the case. We can cut the cable at the station. If you open it without authorization, Marcus said, every item inside becomes part of this incident. Cole smiled. That's supposed to scare me? No, it is supposed to inform you. Marcus's phone vibrated on the cruiser hood. Leah's name filled the screen, then dimmed. Vance turned it face down. Transport him. Maya's terminal chimed. A federal message appeared, marked urgent. She read the first line twice. Do not interrupt contact. Detaining officers may be involved in an active federal inquiry. Her hand hovered above the radio, while outside, Cole reached for Marcus's arm. Cole's hand closed around Marcus's upper arm at 5:07 p.m. Walk. Marcus glanced at Vance's radio. Dispatch sent an urgent message. You are not part of our communications, she said. I heard the alert. Cole pulled him towards the cruiser. Save it for booking. Tessa stepped from beneath the awning. He was confirmed. I recorded it. Vance raised one palm. Stay back. Are you arresting him because the confirmation embarrassed you? Samuel caught Tessa's sleeve before she moved closer. His thermos struck the wall. Marcus turned his head. Keep the original video. Don't edit it. Cole tightened his grip. Stop directing witnesses. His phone buzzed on the hood. Leah. Calling glowed through the rain. Let me answer, Marcus said. 30 seconds. No, Vance replied. She is 13 and waiting alone. You can call after processing. Then tell her I'm safe. Vance picked up the phone. Marcus thought she might answer. Instead, she slid it into a clear evidence pouch and sealed the strip with her thumb. Cole searched Marcus's pockets again. He removed his keys and pen. The folded concert program caught on the jacket lining. Careful, Marcus said. Cole pulled harder. Damp paper opened between his gloves. Across the bottom, blue ink read, Don't be late this time. Cole's face changed, then hardened. What is it? Vance asked. School paper? Bag it. It isn't evidence, Marcus said. Everything on you is evidence now. Cole let the program fall while reaching for another pouch. It landed beside the rear tire. Rain pressed it against the black asphalt. Marcus stopped. Move, Cole said. The program. We'll collect it. You stepped over it. Vance noticed Tessa's phone. Pick it up. A gust pushed the page beneath the cruiser. One corner remained visible, the words dissolving into blue threads. Samuel crossed the wet concrete and bent near the bumper. Cole blocked him with one boot. Don't touch the vehicle. That belongs to his kid. Back away. Samuel straightened, water dripping from his beard. You heard him ask for one call. No one answered. At 6:18 p.m., Leah stood behind the auditorium curtain, rubbing her palms against her dark skirt. Warm light leaked through the fabric. The room smelled of dust, floor polish, and carnations. Ms. Ellison adjusted the microphone. Your father may be parking. Leah looked through the curtain gap. The middle seat in the first row was empty. A small paper flower rested on its cushion. He said he'd be early, she whispered. Her phone showed 4 unanswered calls. The pianist played the opening notes. Leah swallowed, walked into the light, and faced the empty chair. Back on Briar Road, Cole shut Marcus inside the cruiser. The cabin smelled of vinyl and old coffee. Through wet glass, Marcus saw Samuel standing beside the half-hidden program. Vance lifted the black case from the sedan. Seal the badge, phone, and case as suspected fraudulent property. Maya's voice cut through the radio. Sergeant, acknowledge the federal warning. Vance reached inside and turned the volume down. The cruiser pulled away. Under its rear tire, the paper flower tore loose and remained in the road. The station bench was colder than Marcus expected. At 6:41 p.m., he sat beneath a flickering ceiling panel with his hands between his knees. The air smelled of bleach, wet wool, and burnt coffee. Beyond the desk, a printer fed out pages with a dry rasp. Cole stood typing slowly. Name. You have it. State it. Marcus Reed. Occupation. Marcus looked toward the evidence shelf, where his badge, phone, keys, and black case sat in separate bags. Federal employee. Cole's fingers paused. That's not going in. Then leave it blank. Jonah Price entered carrying a property tray. At 24, he still wore every crease sharply. He glanced at the screen. Sergeant listed the stop at 5:12. Cole kept typing. So? Your camera started at 4:53. Traffic was bad. That doesn't explain 19 minutes. Cole turned. You checking my report? I'm checking the timestamps. Vance entered, rain shining on her sleeves. Price, inventory the vehicle property. Jonah lifted the bag containing Marcus's credentials. The seal caught the light. Was this verified? Possible spoofing, Vance said. The dispatch log says active. It also says unresolved. Marcus lifted his head. Because you ended the call. Cole struck one key. Quiet. The printer rasped once more. Jonah reached for Cole's camera dock. A green light blinked. You uploaded the full recording? It auto-uploads. The buffer includes the verification call. Cole stepped between him and the dock. Inventory the property. Jonah's eyes moved to Marcus, then away. Yes, sir. At 6:56, the cuffs came off. Marcus flexed his fingers, but his left thumb remained numb. Cole pushed a phone across the desk. One call. My own phone. It's evidence. Then play my voicemail. Not part of booking. Marcus dialed Leah on the station handset. It rang until the recorded message began. He hung up before the tone. Try again, Jonah said quietly. Marcus did. Leah answered. Dad? I'm here. Where were you? He looked at the clock. I was delayed. You promised. I know. The words came softly. Behind him, Cole shifted a stack of forms. Vance stared at the dark window. Did you hear me sing? Leah asked. No. She said nothing. Marcus pressed the receiver tighter. I'm sorry. You always have a reason. The line went dead. He returned the phone to the cradle with both hands. Jonah turned toward the evidence shelf. A corner of the concert program protruded from a damp bag. Is this yours? Marcus took it carefully. The paper had gone soft, and the blue message had spread into a pale stain. He smoothed it across his knee. Cole slid a form toward him. Sign. Marcus read the first line. You wrote that I became confrontational after failing to identify myself. That's the report. It's false. Then refuse. Jonah looked at the camera dock. The green light had changed to amber. What does amber mean? Upload interrupted, Vance said. By who? No one answered. Marcus folded the ruined program along its old crease. A computer chimed in the back office. Jonah checked the nearest screen. A backup copy of Cole's recording had begun saving to the station server. At 7:03 p.m., the backup file reached 92%. Jonah stood beside the monitor while Cole and Vance argued in the corridor. "You said the upload failed," Cole whispered. "It stalled," Vance replied. "Then stop the backup." "From whose login?" The bar moved to 93. Marcus sat on the cold bench with the ruined program folded in his palm. Dry heat blew across his damp sleeves, carrying dust and burnt coffee. Maya Lopez's voice came through the desk radio. "Dispatch to Sergeant Vance. Federal duty desk requests detainee status." Vance lifted the handset. "Subject remains under investigation. Federal identity is confirmed." "You already said that." "I'm saying it again for the record." Cole glanced at the ceiling camera. Vance lowered her voice. "Mark the contact unresolved. I can't alter a verified return. Note possible spoofing." "I did. Federal security rejected it." The printer fan hummed. Maya continued. "Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed. Active status. Civil Rights Accountability Task Force. Identity verified." On her terminal, green words glowed beside Marcus's photograph. "Identity verified." Maya saved a screenshot, attached the call log, and sent both to the federal address in the warning. Then she wrote the time on paper. At 7:08, Daniel Cho entered a secure operations room. He was 48, with rimless glasses. "Reed missed his check-in," Renee Wallace said. Renee, 36, wore her curls pinned high and had the vehicle tracker open. "Last signal?" "Briar Road, 4:58. Then Ashford Station." "Call him." "Phone is listed in police custody." Daniel read Maya's attachment. "They held him after confirmation?" "Twice confirmed." "Who ended the first call?" "Sergeant Laura Vance." Daniel picked up the secure phone. "Send field response. Preserve every Ashford recording from 4:30 onward." "Do we tell them what he was carrying?" "Not over an unsecured line." "And Calvin Moss?" "Move him tonight." Renee reached for another handset. "Marcus will hate that." "He can hate it after we get him out." At 7:14, Tessa sat in Samuel's truck with the heater running. Rainwater dripped from her yellow coat as she replayed her video. Cole's voice filled the cab. "Anyone can print this." Then came the confirmation, Vance cutting the radio, and Marcus saying, "Your cameras recorded your refusal." Samuel watched the station entrance. "Post it," he said. "What if I get something wrong?" "Then add nothing." Tessa sent the original file to Nora Bell, a 41-year-old local reporter. Nora called at once. "Did you record continuously?" "Until they drove away." "Keep the original. Don't edit it." "Was he really federal?" "I'm confirming that now." "What if they erase their copy?" "Then yours becomes evidence." Inside the station, the backup bar reached 100%. Jonah copied the file number onto his palm before Vance crossed the room. "Delete the duplicate," she said. "It is automatic evidence retention." That was an instruction. Jonah looked at Marcus, then at the wet program in his hand. "No, Sergeant." Before Vance could answer, 3 sets of headlights swept across the windows and stopped at the entrance. The first knock landed at 7:19 p.m. Every head turned toward the glass doors. Daniel Cho entered first, rain shining on his coat. Renee Wallace followed with 2 federal officers. "Who is in charge?" Daniel asked. Vance stepped forward. "I am." "No," Chief Brennan said. "I am." Daniel displayed his credentials. "Federal Task Force Supervisor. Release Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed." Cole stared at Marcus. "Senior Agent?" Marcus remained on the bench, the ruined program across one knee. Brennan looked at Vance. You said the badge was fraudulent. It came through a questionable line. Maya's voice sounded from the desk speaker. The line was secure. Vance reached for the volume control. Leave it, Daniel said. Renee crossed to Marcus. Are you hurt? No. Property. Badge, phone, keys, and the black case. The chain of custody is compromised. Cole shook his head. We never opened it. You tried, Marcus said. Jonah brought the property bags. All items logged at 5:36. The case arrived sealed. Daniel checked each label. Who authorized seizure of protected material? Vance answered, he refused to identify the contents. He could not disclose them roadside, Renee said. The room smelled of wet uniforms and hot wiring. A copier started, then stopped. Brennan lowered his voice. Can we handle this privately? Daniel glanced outside. That option ended when your officers ignored 2 confirmations. He signed the release form and slid it toward Cole. Remove the detention status. Cole did not move. Now, Brennan said. The keyboard clicked. Marcus rose. Renee reached for the damp program, but he folded it himself along the blurred crease. Daniel nodded toward the case. Conference room. Fluorescent light reflected off the scarred table. Jonah remained by the door. Marcus entered the code and lifted the lid. 6 complaint files lay beneath a recorder, dispatch maps, and signed statements. Every folder carried the same road name, Briar Road. Cole's face lost its color. Marcus opened the top file. 4 stops of Calvin Moss, 2 searches without documented consent. His employer contacted before any citation. Vance looked at Brennan. You knew? We receive complaints every week. Not like these, Daniel said. Marcus set down another folder. 3 witnesses described the same questions, location, and officers. Cole stepped back. So this was a setup? I was driving to my daughter's concert. Then why carry this? Because a witness trusted me enough to speak today. Rain ticked against the narrow window. Renee turned the recorder toward Vance. Ending verification is now part of this case. I protected my officer. Marcus met her eyes. You protected his version. No one moved. Daniel lowered the lid. All camera files, dispatch logs, reports, and complaints are under preservation order. Brennan reached for the door. I need counsel. You need to remain available, Daniel said. Marcus picked up his phone. 7 missed calls from Leah filled the screen. Instead, he smoothed the ruined note with his thumb and asked Jonah, Where is the original camera file? Jonah met his eyes. Saved, he said, and it contained something they left out of the report. Saved where? Daniel asked. Jonah shut the conference room door. The server kept an automatic duplicate. I copied the file number before Sergeant Vance ordered me to delete it. Vance's chair scraped the floor. That is not what I said. Jonah faced her. You said, delete the duplicate. Fluorescent lights buzzed. Rain ticked against the narrow window, and the room smelled of wet wool and hot plastic. Miriam Shaw arrived at 7:46 p.m., silver threaded through her dark braid. No one touches a terminal without my authorization. Chief Brennan folded his arms. This is still my building. Not this evidence, Miriam said. She placed 3 screens side by side. Tessa's video, Cole's body camera file, and the dispatch log. The first showed Marcus with his hands visible. The second captured Cole at the locked case. The log showed federal confirmation at 5:04. Miriam tapped the timeline. Officer Cole, your report says you first saw the credentials at 5:12. That was when I examined them. The video shows them in your hand at 4:59. Cole's jaw tightened. I estimated. You estimated 13 minutes in your favor. Miriam played the audio. Confirmed. Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed. Vance's hand crossed the frame, and the transmission cut off. Sergeant? I believed the call could be spoofed. Based on what? Vance stared at the table. His answers. Marcus sat at the far end, the ruined concert program folded beside his wrist. Miriam opened the dispatch record. Maya Lopez used the department directory. You heard that. Vance's lips parted, then closed. In the outer office, Nora Bell's alert chimed on several phones. Tessa's video had been posted without commentary. The headline listed the road, time, and confirmed identity. Brennan reached for his phone. Do not call anyone, Miriam said. I need to manage public response. You needed to manage your officers. Jonah stood by the evidence cabinet with one hand in his pocket. His fingers would not release the backup drive. The plastic edge had pressed a pale line into his palm. Daniel noticed. What else do you have? Jonah pulled out the drive, but held it above the table. Vance's voice softened. Think carefully. Once you hand that over, you cannot take it back. Jonah looked at Cole. Cole shook his head once. Officers had gathered near the doorway. They stepped away when Miriam glanced up. Their silence weighed more than argument. Jonah's hand trembled. Marcus unfolded the program. Blue ink had bled through the paper until Leah's sentence was barely readable. You do not owe me loyalty, he said. You owe the record accuracy. Jonah lowered the drive into Miriam's open evidence bag. The sound was almost nothing. Cole closed his eyes. Miriam sealed the strip and wrote the time. What is on it? The first report draft, Jonah said, before the timestamps were changed. Brennan turned toward Vance. Changed by whom? Jonah looked at the red complaint folder under her hand. Her login. Miriam opened the audit log. Cold blue light spread across Vance's face. At 6:32 p.m., one entry appeared under her credentials. Incident narrative revised. 2 minutes later came another. Federal verification reference removed. At 9:10 the next morning, the council chamber doors opened to a full room. Marcus sat beside Daniel and Miriam. His charcoal jacket had dried stiff. Under a white lamp lay the bag with his badge. Leah's ruined program rested inside his folder. Across the aisle, Cole adjusted his tie. Vance gripped a paper cup. Brennan whispered to counsel. Officer Cole, Miriam said, why did your report state that Agent Reed became confrontational before presenting identification? He challenged the stop. That was not my question. Cole glanced toward the gallery. Tessa sat beside Samuel. Jonah stood near the rear wall. I interpreted his tone as confrontational. Miriam pressed a key. Marcus's recorded voice filled the chamber. Am I being cited? Then Cole. You're being instructed. No raised voice. Only rain and the tick of the turn signal. Where's the confrontation? Miriam asked. You had to be there. We were, Tessa said. The hearing officer raised a hand. No interruptions. Miriam opened the dispatch log. Sergeant Vance, at 5:04 p.m., Federal Dispatch confirmed Marcus Reed as a senior special agent. Why did you terminate the transmission? I believed the call could be staged. What supported that belief? His locked case, his evasiveness. Miriam played the audio. Confirmed. Senior Special Agent Marcus Reed, Civil Rights Accountability Task Force. A click. Then Vance's voice. We do not know who was on that line. At 5:06, dispatch told you the department directory initiated the call. At 6:32, your login removed the verification reference. Vance looked at Brennan. He leaned away. I was protecting an investigation. Whose? She did not answer. Daniel slid 3 internal emails forward. One demanded higher stop numbers. Another called complaints avoidable noise. The third read, keep repeat contacts in-house. Outside review creates headlines. Those messages are being mischaracterized, Brennan said. Did you send them? Yes, but... Did you close Calvin Moss's complaint without interviewing the witness? We receive hundreds. 7 involved the same road officer and supervisor. Marcus opened Leah's program beneath the table. The ink had faded. One word remained readable. Late. Miriam called Jonah forward. Why did you preserve the first draft? The timestamps changed. Who ordered you to delete the duplicate? Jonah looked at Vance. She did. Cole lowered his head. The reports appeared on screen. Federal badge had become suspicious credential. Verified call had become unknown caller. Marcus's request to contact his daughter had vanished. Miriam played one final clip. Vance's voice filled the chamber. Turn the volume down. Maya answered. Federal identity is confirmed. No one moved until the hearing officer removed his glasses. Officer Cole, Sergeant Vance, and Chief Brennan are suspended pending formal findings. All related complaints will go to independent review. Cole stared at the badge. Agent Reed. Marcus folded the program and stood. Save it for the record, he said. Outside, cameras waited beneath a hard blue sky, while the city clerk carried 7 reopened complaint files toward the chamber. At 10:26 a.m., the suspension orders lay on a walnut table in the mayor's conference room. Cole stood first. Cold coffee and toner hung in the room. Sunlight stopped at the silver badge on his chest. Remove departmental property, the clerk said. Cole unfastened it. His hand stayed over the badge. Officer Cole? He set it down, but his fingers did not lift. This is temporary, Cole said. Miriam closed the folder. The findings will decide that. Cole finally pulled his hand away. A damp circle remained on the table. Outside, Tessa and Samuel waited. They reopened my brother's stop, Tessa said. 2 years ago. Same road. Samuel handed Marcus coffee. No sugar. It was too hot to drink. You did the right thing, Marcus told her. I almost lowered the phone. But you didn't. That doesn't feel like enough. It may be enough for someone whose camera was missing. By noon, 7 files had become 19. Maya's logs showed gaps after verifications. Jonah's drafts showed wording changed before complaints were closed. Calvin Moss arrived with route sheets and a termination notice. They told my boss I was unstable, Calvin said. Marcus held the notice to the light. Did anyone interview you? No. Did they return your property? 3 days later, my work keys were gone. Daniel entered with City Attorney Elaine Mercer, 50, precise in a Navy suit. We can discuss resolution, she said. For whom? Marcus asked. For you. Wrongful detention, reputational damage, emotional distress. Calvin's chair creaked. A confidential agreement could be completed quickly. Marcus glanced at Leah's ruined program. And the 19 complaints? Those are separate. No. This would not prevent policy review. It would prevent public findings. It would avoid unnecessary exposure. For the department? For everyone. Marcus pushed the folder back. I will not sell silence while other people remain entries in closed files. The air conditioner clicked off. Is that final? Yes. At 4 p.m., the city ordered an independent review of 4 years of Briar Road stops. Brennan resigned before a removal vote. Vance lost supervisory authority. Cole's termination cited falsified reporting and ignored verification rules. Jonah found him in the locker room. "You gave them the drive," Cole said. "I preserved the record. You chose strangers over your unit." Jonah shut his locker. Metal echoed over tile. "I chose what happened." Cole looked at the empty rectangle on his uniform. That evening, Marcus sat outside Leah's school. Rehearsal music drifted through the brick wall. Rain tapped the windshield. Daniel called. "The city wants another offer." Same answer. They may fight reform. Then document every refusal. Marcus opened the program. Only 3 blue letters remained clear near the fold. Late. Leah came through the side door with her choir bag. She saw him, stopped, then crossed the wet lot. "You're early," she said. "Yes." She noticed the program. "You kept it?" He nodded. Leah opened the passenger door but did not get in. "Are they done?" Marcus looked toward the police station lights beyond the trees. "No," he said. "Now they have to change the rules." At 8:30 a.m., Marcus placed Leah's ruined concert program beside a 42-page policy draft. The conference room smelled of old carpet and burned coffee. Rain streaked the windows. Ellis Turner, 63, chair of the new Civilian Oversight Board, adjusted his hearing aid and tapped the first page. Independent credential verification, automatic camera upload, external review of repeat stops. City Attorney Elaine Mercer folded her arms. "Some officers consider this punitive." Marcus looked at the blurred blue ink. "Which part?" "The automatic transfer of recordings." "Because supervisors can't interrupt it?" "Because context matters." "Then preserve the context." Jonah Price slid forward a diagram. "Once a camera activates, the file copies off-site every 60 seconds. Supervisors can flag it, not erase it." A union representative shook his head. "You are designing policy around one incident." Calvin Moss lifted a folder. 19 reopened complaints say otherwise." No one answered. The ventilation fan clicked on. Marcus flattened the program with 2 fingers, but the damp paper curled back. Elaine noticed. "Why bring that?" "Because procedures become personal somewhere." She looked at the faded words, then away. By noon, Brennan's old charts filled the screen, ranking officers by contacts, searches, and citations. "Remove the rankings," Marcus said. "Departments need performance measures," the representative replied. "Measure accuracy. That is subjective. Then measure camera activation, completed verification calls, complaints sustained after review." Ellis turned to the clerk. "Add it." Elaine exhaled. "You are asking the city to admit the old system rewarded volume." Calvin's chair scraped. "It did," he said. "That's why they kept finding us." Rain ticked against the glass. At 2:15, residents filled the chamber. Tessa sat beside Samuel. Maya Lopez attended in uniform. Officers lined the opposite wall. Ellis opened the session. "This board exists because internal correction failed." A retired officer stood. "You're treating every stop like misconduct." "No," Ellis said. "We're treating every stop like a record." When Marcus was called, he carried no notes. He set the damaged program on the lectern. "I was verified twice," he said. "That did not protect me." Cameras clicked. "But I had a badge, a supervisor, and preserved evidence. Most people in those files had none of that." Do not write rules that depend on the detained person being important. Write rules that work when nobody knows their name. He stepped back before applause could begin. At 5:40, the council approved independent verification, off-site camera storage, quarterly audits, and a ban on stop count rankings. The vote was 6-1. Outside, Leah waited near the courthouse steps with her choir bag. "Did they change it?" she asked. "They started." She picked up the program. "You keep carrying this. So I don't confuse winning with fixing." Leah folded it carefully and placed it beside the signed rules. Across the plaza, workers removed the old performance chart from the station lobby. Behind it, a clean rectangle marked the wall where the numbers had been. 3 months later, Leah tested the auditorium microphone with one soft note. Marcus sat in the center seat of the first row at 5:18 p.m., 42 minutes before the doors opened. The floor smelled of wax and fresh paint. In his lap lay a restored copy of the old concert program. Leah had redrawn the missing gold stars, but left the blue sentence untouched. "Don't be late this time." "You're early," she called from the stage. "I was aiming for annoying." "You made it." He raised the program. "I brought proof." She smiled at the crooked stars. Mom would have fixed those. She would have added 12 more. The stage manager called Leah backstage. Before leaving, she placed a new paper flower on the chair beside Marcus. At City Hall, the first independent review was released at the same hour. 43 stops had been reopened. 11 citations were dismissed. 6 drivers received formal apologies, and 3 supervisors entered retraining. The report listed failures and deleted records without calling them misunderstandings. Miriam handed Marcus a copy on the courthouse steps. They used the word failed 14 times. Better than confused. Nora wants a statement. She can print the findings. Nothing else? The people in those files already said enough. Cole's termination was final after the board found that he falsified the report and ignored verified credentials. Vance accepted demotion rather than appeal and could no longer supervise officers. Brennan's retirement benefits remained under review after investigators confirmed that he rewarded stop volume and discouraged outside complaints. Across the plaza, Jonah spoke to new recruits about evidence retention. Maya had been promoted to dispatch training supervisor. Tessa's video remained in the public archive. Samuel had testified in 4 reopened cases, and Calvin Moss had joined the oversight board. Calvin approached with a thick binder. "You coming inside?" "The vote starts at 6. "So does Leah." Marcus looked at the program. "Miriam trapped me with paperwork." "I heard that," Miriam said. Calvin opened the courthouse door. "Go. We can vote without a federal agent watching us." "Call me after." "No. Call your daughter after." Fine rain cooled Marcus's face. Courthouse lights blurred on the pavement. He placed the report beneath the program and walked to his car. The auditorium was full when the lights dimmed. Coats rustled. The piano gave the opening chord. Leah stepped into the warm circle of light and found him immediately. She did not imitate Aisha's voice. She sang lower and steadier, one hand resting against her side. Marcus held the program until the paper stopped trembling. When the last note faded, the audience rose. He remained seated through the silence before the applause. After the curtain call, Leah came down the aisle. "Did you hear all of it?" "Every word." "You didn't check your phone?" "It was off." She touched the paper flower on the empty chair. "I kept that seat for Mom." "I know. And this one for you." Marcus looked at the restored program, then at the chair beneath him. "I'm here," he said. Leah placed her hand on his shoulder. No camera recorded it. No report described it. The stage lights went dark 1 row at a time until only the first row remained warm. This time, the seat was filled. Have you ever witnessed a routine encounter become unfair because someone in authority refused to listen? Share what happened in the comments especially if one honest witness, preserved recording, or quiet act of courage changed the outcome. Send this story to someone who believes dignity should never depend on status, appearance, or the badge in your pocket. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet resilience, and the difficult work of changing systems, not only exposing one bad decision. And remember the people who stayed, the dispatcher who kept the record, the rookie who saved the file, the witnesses who did not look away, and the daughter who kept a seat open. Sometimes accountability begins when one person decides the truth is worth preserving.